I never use the headphones, but let's see what happens. Talks about it with Franjez. Today we have a special guest. You might know him without a face through his Instagram, but today we will put a face to the name. Today we have Yonkers' very own Eddie.
Thank you very much for the invitation. After 3 attempts, this is it.
This is the third time we did the intro, and we're keeping it.
That's right.
So how you doing today?
I'm doing mighty fine. I made it here, so now I'm a local celebrity because I'm on this podcast with Franjez, right?
Come on.
Had to be said.
I appreciate that. So let's start off with Instagram.
So the Instagram that I run is South Yonkers. I created it initially to change the narrative here in Southwest Yonkers, specifically, the Nodine Hill, Park Hill, and Ludlow area, because that's the area that I grew up. It's the area that I can speak for and say, you know what, there are some hardworking families here. Like, the bad reputation that precedes is not actual. It's not factual at all. So I wanted to change that narrative.
I like it. Where were you born?
Born and raised here in Yonkers, St. John's Riverside Hospital, to be specific.
Yonkers from the core.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that. What motivated you behind this Instagram?
So initially, I remember seeing a news coverage specifically that happened right by my neighborhood. I used to live on Oak. And it was on Elm Street, and an incident happened where literally all the news stations, ABC News, and all of them were there. And they asked the commissioner, hey, how come there's so much crime that happens here? And then he started off, oh, well, this area is impoverished. And that hit me to the core, because I was like, wait, that doesn't even go. Why would you even say something like that? First of all, the community that I know, I literally live there. They are hardworking families, right? They're trying to just make a living and have their kids grow up in that area. But that has nothing to do with whether there's crime or if the people there are actually committing the crime. It's usually from not even from the neighborhood. So that to me, to showcase in all the news outlets, coming from the commissioner saying this is what this area is like, was incorrect. So I just felt that really pushed me to start the Instagram itself.
So what is the main goal for this Instagram?
In my head, the goal keeps changing, because at first it was, just posting pictures of what actual life is like while I was, either walking down the street. I'd be oh, that'd be an interesting post. Then it went into kind of showcasing local events, stuff like that. Now it's promoting local organizers who I know do a phenomenal job at serving the community. Those are the ones that I really push for. And just anyone who has some event or wanted to get some news out to the to the few people around, I would repost them as well. So now I don't really know, after this, and now that everyone's going to get to know who I am, possibly do more personal stories on Instagram. I don't know, of just experiences that I've been through and what it was like growing up. Maybe something like that would be of interest maybe to those that I grew up with and their kids now, because I'm sure everyone has 2 or 3 kids by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That'll be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yonkers is such a beautiful place, and a lot of amazing people came out of Yonkers. In the music industry alone is insane.
Mm-hmm.
The top 5 rappers have come out of this little city right here,
which is amazing, right?
That's incredible.
And I don't know if it's because the struggle is real in Yonkers, as we know, and maybe all their experiences showcased on paper becomes what we know as the great artists of all time. You got X, you got Mary J coming out of here, and there's a lot of new people that are trying to make it now even, but sometimes it's hard because we don't get to know who they are, that if they're even from here. So sometimes it's hard to support people. So that's why that page kind of like helps to push people also.
Yeah.
And obviously it's from my experience, right? People that I come into contact with. So maybe it's like bias that I'm only posting what I think is important to me. But I always, like, I've posted before, like, if you have anything that you want to share, like, just tag me and I'll repost it.
Oh, that's great. Help is help.
That's right.
Congratulations on your first property.
My first property. So yeah, I'm a late bloomer because now I'm 38 now. And listen, like, it took a lot to get here. But yeah, it is my first purchase. It was a roller coaster because of the rates and like doubting myself. Am I going to be able to pay this? You know, all that comes into play because now you're like, this is an adult decision that you're like, you know, have to do on your own and budget and all that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. So any advice for first-time buyers? And by the way, you're not late. Everybody's timeline is different. That's all.
That's true.
You
Thanks.
made it. You created a plan. You executed it. Now you could drop jewels and help somebody out there that's thinking of doing the same thing.
That's right. So like right now, I mean, I was in the market since like April, where the rates were still 5.25, 550 you can get, right? But now they've jumped so exponentially, especially not name dropping, but the Federal Reserve itself. You know, they've been have a stronghold on keeping the rates high. So that really like affected me because I was like, well, you know, back in April we were like, they're kind of high, but it was still during the time where people were outbidding each other, like for and inflating the prices and properties where they didn't really like, you know, they weren't valued at that, but they were just inflating them based on demand. So we got outbid a couple times. That was discouraging. It's very discouraging, like having to like start to envision yourself in a home that you're like, oh, I could see myself doing this. I could see myself doing that, and putting abuela and all that, you know, in the back. But then when they tell you, oh, you lost the house and went to someone else, man, that's just like, it hits you at the heart, you know, because you start, that's your house. They stole it from you. So I, man, you're going to go through a lot. The market right now is insane. The first person that you have to reach out to is a realtor. So luckily I had one of my friends that I followed because we started in banks. We started working in a bank over like 10 years ago. So I knew her like really well. And she recently like posted that she was a real estate agent. So I reached out to her like, hey, can you help me out? And she was like, I got you. And that was like the best thing that could have happened because she knows the area. I can trust her. I know her. And we just have that relationship where she was like, I'm going to fight for you. And she was literally out there like pushing so hard, like cursing out the attorney. But but that's the kind of people you need on your side, especially for something such a big purchase that, you know, it's impactful. It's impactful like for me, because now I'm like, you know, on my own, and it's my first property, like, and, you know, in my family, I'm like one of the first people to get one. And it was really important for me to do it on my own. Like, I didn't want help. I was like, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be like, because I wanted it to be like my own accomplishment where I can like say, I did this.
100%. That's beautiful. When it comes to loans, would you say that's the second step? You contact a realtor, and then you got to make sure what you could be approved for. That should be the next step.
So that's a great question because once I got my realtor, that was the first thing I did. She assisted me with going to the open houses. She assisted if I saw something in Truly and I said, hey, can you schedule an appointment for us? She would be on top of it. So she's really the one that's gonna kind of like mediate, you know, you into going into the actual properties itself. She'll have some experience on, you know, what's been sold around what area, so she can kind of give you an idea of what the home prices will be. The second step I would say is start shopping. So just because you go to like, let's say your bank and they're like, yeah, we can get you a loan. Well, you know, just give us all this. And this is the rate they have to disclose to you. It's called a loan estimate. They have to disclose to you how much of an estimate it will be for that particular loan that you're interested in for. So with that said, you're not necessarily tied to that first person you go to. You can go to brokers, which I ended up going to 2 brokers and and my bank. Oh, and Rocket Mortgage, which I had a really bad experience with. So I personally wouldn't go back to them. And that would be the second step, right? Then after that, you have to start thinking about where you want to, at what point you're going to get an appraisal. You have to look for an attorney. I actually got referred by someone to an attorney, and that also worked out to my favor. And after that, I guess I'm not trying to say that it goes smoothly, because there's like going to be always bumps in the road where you have to keep providing documentation, even though it's going to sound like repetitive, but they're going to ask all over for your payroll checks and all that stuff, because it has to be updated constantly. So don't just think I gave it to them once, like I don't have to worry about that. No, it's like a continual thing until the loan is closed. They're going to continue asking for the latest documentation, whether it be bank statements, your payroll stubs, and all that good stuff, right?
Very good information. Very good information. Thank you. And you mentioned real estate in Mexico. You were looking into that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to, in my head, I want to retire in Mexico, just because of retiring here in America is like super expensive. I mean, you got to have money, a good amount set aside. So, I mean, I see how, like, when you go to Mexico on vacation, you see a lot of like tourists either that live there or are living there long term, right? And you're like, well, why can't I do that? And like, I mean, I wasn't born necessarily in Mexico, but like I have so many ties there with family and all that. So like, why shouldn't I have the opportunity to do that? But I've heard that, like, as if you're a foreigner trying to buy property in Mexico, it's going to be a little bit higher for you and might be a little harder for you, right? Whereas if you're like a Mexican national, then you're gonna get the local rates, I guess, like, because you live there, right? I don't have my Mexican citizenship, so I've been in the process of getting it taken care of in Mexico itself, but I ran into a little bump, so I just have to clear that up, and hopefully I'll get the Mexican national citizenship, and then start looking, right? Because whether it's like a little apartment or a little house, something to start with, and then it could eventually turn into something.
100%. What part of Mexico are you thinking? And also, what is the process of getting the citizenship?
So usually, I mean, if you have both your mother and father living and they're in your life, right? You can head down to the Mexican embassy in New York, and they'll assist you there. All they have to do is provide like their birth certificates, your birth certificate, and I believe their passport. You schedule an appointment down there in the embassy, and then they usually like take you in. And we were this close, but so I grew up in Yonkers, but like with like a single mom, right? At first, and my biological father was never in the picture, so up until now, and like I'm just too proud to reach out and say, hey, do this favor for me, when I'm like not really, I have no communication with him. So that's why it's been taking a little bit longer.
I get that
now, yeah. Because of all that.
Do you know this? Do you know the process? If you're not, if your parents are Mexican,
I would probably, the process would be to marry someone who's Mexican. Because I don't see how you could do it. I mean, I don't know. There might be.
Every country has something. Like you might have to live there for a certain amount of years,
okay.
Or you might have to have a job there, or you might have to contribute somehow to like the community where you live in, like all this stuff. Like some countries have these stipulations where you could be a citizen, but it takes this. Mexico gotta have something.
I don't know. I thought you were going to go ahead and tell me about your experience.
I wish.
Becoming a Mexican national.
I haven't started, but I'm going to look into it.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. I love Mexico.
Yeah,
I've only been to touristy areas, but I just love everything about Mexico. Mm-hmm. It's just the people, the weather's amazing, the fruits and vegetables that grow there. everything. The beaches, of course.
Yeah, I was telling
The
you about.
food.
I
Come
was telling you
on.
about the colonial architecture that we saw in Merida, which is maybe like what was it, like 6 hour ride from Cancun. Beautiful architecture, and now with that Tren Maya, when it's open, it's gonna create a lot more traffic in those areas.
Hell yeah.
I think that the prices there right now are low, but once the train starts, you'll see the rates go up.
Yeah, because everything is cheap right now.
Mhm.
So, yeah, everything's going to eventually be ridiculous. Definitely.
How has your experience been in Cancun? Like,
Cancun, I went only once many years ago to a resort just partying. It was a bachelor party, something like that. And then I went to Playa del Carmen, loved it. Tulum, loved it. And Cabo San Lucas.
okay,
Didn't love it.
hated it.
It was not hated it, but it was just like a town full of old retired people. Yeah, Americans.
Usually, right? That's how it is.
It was just everybody's just laying around calm and everything's quiet
Waiting
and
for
low.
the day to
and-
be over.
Yeah, everything's just, I'm like, this isn't fun. It's relaxing,
Right.
which is nice. Beautiful, of course. It was the water, everything was very beautiful.
So maybe that's the pathway, right? To like
What?
kind of get I mean, since you love Cancun so much, is that what like?
No, Cancun,
made
I
you-
went many years ago. I don't even care to go back.
Oh, okay.
Cancun is kind of like a city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even care to go back. Tulum, I like. It's calm. Playa del Carmen's a mix of both, I feel. It's a little more like a smaller community more than a city. It's more calm and it's more
Yeah, it is.
personable.
It's got a lot more culture in it because it's so like you still have a lot of the locals living there.
Yeah.
So you know, whereas Cancun, it's like they're all thrown outside in their land.
Yeah, wherever tourists are and resorts, it's a whole different animal. I'm not a big
I
fan
felt
of
trapped
that.
there.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Cancun. Love Mexico, but Cancun is just too touristy.
It's the Las Vegas of that area.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I learned when I went to Cabo, a lot of New Yorkers. Do you hear people ever going to Cabo often, or Cancun more often?
No, it's more so Cancun because I think we got stuck on our East Coast sides, right?
That's what it
the
is.
West Coast has
And Cabo, all the California people go.
right.
The West Coast people go. It's more convenient. Those people don't go to Cancun.
No, that'd be a way longer trip for them. So that's
It's vice versa. Nobody wants to do the X, and they want to stick to their sides.
exactly. It's safer, right?
It's just shorter distance and it's cheaper. That's what
You
it
don't
is.
want to fall in the
Realistically,
Midwest.
that's what it is, though. Cancun's how cheap? Nobody thinks of Cabo.
A good one over there is Puerto Vallarta. You have to visit over there.
Where's
You got-
that?
It's also on the West Coast, but it's like closer to. It's in Jalisco, so I'm not. It's like
Jalisco's north, isn't it?
yeah, it's like on the mid south to northern
Yeah.
section. Yeah.
Mid to southern section. I like it. But yeah, I'm definitely down. I loved
you
every
have to
experience
check it
so
out.
far.
It's like a Playa del Carmen,
All right.
but like on steroids. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're gonna like it.
All right.
It's dope.
I'm with it. All right. Did you hear about Biden's administration? That they started helping Venezuelans in New York, specifically New York City, the ones that were from, horrible times, whatever. It's like 60,000 of them. And the administration is helping them get paperwork to work legally and, progress faster than they would if they just, showed up. What do you think about that? In a sense where, is it good for New York? Is it bad for New York? Is it good for Venezuela? Is it bad for Venezuela?
That's a tough question, right? Because you.
It is. I thought of it like an hour ago.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're going to be here. Like, I mean, instead of like, giving them resources and free stuff or like without them having to work, they're going to definitely like start getting, taking it for granted, right? Like the assistance. So I think it's great if they get like work permits, so at least they can start working for themselves and making a dollar. I mean, because at the end of the day, everybody comes here for that American dream, right?
Yep.
I'm not saying that it's right or wrong that they're here, but they're already here. So, I mean, if they can get like that work visa to start working and then work towards getting other people I mean, that's how. I mean, at the end of the day, the government's going to win. They're going to get all the taxes, all the tax money, right?
Always.
And people start working, so
Always.
it's to their benefit that they do, get them some expedited prices.
So, what do you think about Venezuela? If people are leaving, do you know about how like the government's pretty the value of their money and the government's not doing well? You know about that?
Yeah.
So, what do you think? All these people leaving, it's like. I'm really asking this because I was thinking about it. Like, what are the benefits and what are the cons? These people are leaving their homeland for a better opportunity, leaving people behind, but then those people usually send back to their families. Usually they leave to better their families.
Exactly.
So it's good and bad, but I think it's all good more than bad.
Well, in that circumstance, when a country's either a dictator or government is oppressive to their people, right? People are going to leave, and that's happened in many occasions, not just Venezuela now. I mean, it's happened in Cuba, right? It happened in most of the Latin American countries where people are fleeing something, right? It doesn't even have to be their government. It could just be like, I don't know, their life is in danger, or they're going to get kidnapped or something. You have to flee. And they always look to the USA because, we have, when we say that we have opportunities, everyone does have the opportunity, right? They all do. Everyone, as long as if you put work in all that, you're going to be successful here. You have that opportunity here. Not so much back in our countries, and that's why they look as the USA as like this shining beacon, right? Still. Because at the end of the day, like, it is a great country. There's a lot of stuff that we have to fix.
It's the opportunity that's here.
Exactly. So, if they're coming here, it's for a reason, and it's a valid reason. So why should we kind of like look the other way? You know what I mean? Especially if they're already here.
It all sounds positive.
Yeah.
The government's helping them out. They're most likely gonna send money back home and. Everybody wins, hopefully. Hopefully Venezuela starts doing better. It's a beautiful country, like geographical. Geographical.
I like that. I think it sounds about right. I don't think I would change that. It's English.
Yeah, I like it. You understood it. That's all that matters, right? So yeah, they just got to get that right, and then it could be another beautiful country that tourism flourishes, and all that good stuff. Speaking of tourism and leaving Yonkers, let's talk about Buffalo a little bit.
Let's talk about Buffalo. Big shout out to Bill's Mafia.
I never met someone passionate about Buffalo more than Eddie. I know people in Buffalo, and they don't even talk about Buffalo the way he talks about Buffalo. Tell us a little bit about your passion for Buffalo, and then sneak in the Buffalo chicken wing dip at the end.
All right, so let me tell you about Buffalo. Buffalo has a great food scene. Like literally every restaurant that I've been to there, to like down to a bodega, like I've loved their food. Like they just put so much passion into it. And I was telling you earlier, it must be like. In the winter, when they have nothing else to do, when they're stuck at home, they must just be like perfecting their craft and kitchen, because everything they serve is phenomenal. I mean, and that's the birthplace of our buffalo chicken wings. So they have buffalo everything, including a buffalo dip, buffalo chicken dip with breasts in it.
Yeah. Please explain that.
So the first time I ever had it was in Buffalo, and it's pretty much what you would think of buffalo dip. It's got the Frank's hot sauce, it's got the cream cheese, like 3 different types of cheeses, ranch dressing, ¿qué más? And the breast. Don't forget the breast. You gotta like make it simmer, and it's gonna be it's the consistency of like queso dip, and you just put your chips in there and. You'll eat half of it by yourself because it's just that good.
I never heard of this. He put me on to that. I'm down to try it. It sounds like buffalo chicken dip, but they call it chicken wing dip.
Right.
There's no wings in it.
Well, also, I mean, they wouldn't call it buffalo because they're in Buffalo.
Oh, I thought it was buffalo dip because it's buffalo sauce.
Which is the same one, right? Like, it's all good though.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they really hold on to the buffalo wing like they say they created it up there?
Oh yeah, there's
Really?
the place that's still there. It still has a placard. It says like the home of the first chicken wing dip, and they tell you like the story.
All right,
On their menu, there's like some lady did it somehow.
I respect it. Let's talk about Johnson and Wales College in North Miami. I never even heard of it until you told me about it. So tell us a little bit about that experience. Literally, like class and all that good stuff.
So, I mean, I remember when I was selecting colleges, because at that time, I didn't even think about going to college. But I was like, if I had to go to college, it's gonna be somewhere warm. I want to be somewhere warm. So it was either Florida or California. And thankfully, the first college that got back to me was in Florida. So I said, all right, this is where I'm going to go. And this was the first time ever I left home, like, right, to go anywhere. And I was out there living by myself, not knowing nobody. I mean, you just, you kind of like build your little crew of people. But yeah, I went to North Miami. It was a sick experience. Loved it there. I wanted to live there, but I tried to convince my parents and they just didn't budge. They wanted to stay in Yonkers. And I said, why do you want to stay in Yonkers? Like, what's there?
Because Yonkers is beautiful. Not Miami type of beautiful.
I mean, yeah,
It's
there's two
Yonkers
different
beautiful.
beautifuls, right?
It's home beautiful.
It's always home.
Beautiful is the most beautiful.
Anytime I come from anywhere, I'm like so happy to be back home.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It just makes me feel easy and like relaxed here. I don't know.
100%.
But once you're here long enough, then you're like itching to like get out, right?
Just a little vacation. That's it. But you always got to go back home. So what did you go to college for? What was the class?
So initially when I applied for culinary arts because I was like, oh, like, I mean, they don't have to take classes, right? Like, they're just cooking. Like,
so you wanted to go to Miami to just chill and cook.
But then I got there and I realized this is a uniform school. Like, you have to wear uniforms to school, right? And they wore like the big top hats with the white jacket and the checkered like pants.
Chef coat, yeah.
And I said, I'm not wearing that. Like, there's no way I'm gonna wear that. Is there anything else that I can change to? And then I started looking through business classes and all that. I said, you know what?
You changed your career because of the uniform.
Because of the uniform.
Something's wrong. You weren't.
I wasn't
sold.
all in
You
it.
weren't
I wasn't
sold,
all in
yeah.
it to culinary school. Listen, like, I just went because it's Florida, right? That was the first criteria. Had to be in Florida. It didn't matter doing what, right? Because I don't know. Back then, I'm not sure if it was on my own, but like, I just didn't have a pathway. I was like, I didn't even want to go to college. I just felt like I had to, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, they're instilling in your parents, like, you got to go to school and you're going to be someone if you go to school. So there I was.
It's good that you did, though. You don't regret it, right?
Oh, no. Like,
Exactly.
especially going away, like, that was the best experience ever. And I always tell every single kid that's going to school, I'm like, make sure you go away to college. It's the only way. Like,
the only way you can have fun.
Fun. You
get to be yourself.
Exactly. You get to learn who you are.
Down.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want to do. Be you.
Yeah, because your family and your close friends could keep you in a bubble. Yeah, that's true.
Real.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move on. That's deep. What were your parents doing around your childhood, around the time you were born? What were they doing?
What were they doing? I don't even know. Like, that's a great question. I've never asked my mom, hey, what were you doing? Like, I'm sure she was, I don't know, having fights with my biological father. Maybe that's why it didn't work out.
That sounds realistic.
Sounds like, yeah. I mean, they were probably fighting. I don't know.
What about the religion you grew up around?
I grew up Catholic, so I got all the confirmation, the baptism, all that good stuff is out of the way.
And what's your relationship with God today?
It's good. I mean, I believe in a higher being. You know, you just have to believe in something. There's no way that we're just here for no reason. So it's great. I talk to him all the time. You know, I have a great relationship with him or her. I mean, I don't know.
I was just about to ask, what is God to you? Is it a him? Is it a way of life? Is it what?
It's
to you.
It's a force, right? We don't know what it is. It could be genderless. I don't know.
That's what I'm asking. Well, what do you
God
think it is?
could not
How
be
do you,
he or she.
you say you talk to it?
I talk.
You talk to it every day.
Damn. I talk to it.
Is it a way of life? Is it a way of living? Is it what? Are you religious?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say I'm religious because I don't even go to church anymore. But I know that you just have to believe in something. I talk to him like I said, or her. And it just is what it is. Like honestly, like that's just God.
Perfect. It's just God. Oh, that's perfect.
Oh man, you're wild.
I was kind of pressing you there, man. I need to relax a little bit.
I was like, whoa. I don't know, man.
Oh man, put you on the spot.
Who is God? I felt like that was a true or false question and I failed.
That was intense. Let's lighten up a little bit, buddy. Who's the first person you think of when you think of success?
Wow.
Let's lighten it up a little bit.
I was just about to give you something that wasn't about to lighten it up. I was gonna say, and not taking into consideration the last 5 years, but I remember growing up and seeing Donald Trump everywhere, right? And I thought it was like the coolest thing. He had a building, he had a show, and I used to love watching that show. And you know, it was all about business and like how to sell yourself, like really pushed marketing and all. So to me, that was like, I love this. Never did I know I was going to go and study business, but like he would always come up in our conversations like, oh, Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that, casinos, you know, businesses. Yeah, they might have failed, but he still had them. So I would say Donald Trump, and he has a masterful mind on business. Like anything, like always automatically turns into money. So like, I don't know.
His every move is business.
Yeah, it's business related.
Yeah, it is.
Everything's calculated to the T.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
a
wild.
good one. That is a good one. As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
An astronaut.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought you could become one, or you just wanted to be one?
Damn.
Two different things.
I wanted to be one. I didn't. I didn't know at the time all the criteria and all the math classes that you had to take. So, yes, at that point I thought. That's why that never came to fruition, because I saw the
Never
criteria.
cracked no beer.
Oh shit.
This one.
Nice.
You want a colder one? It's been sitting there.
All right, let's do this. That's funny.
I take my beer serious, as you can see.
Has to be ice cold.
Yeah, I don't play around with the beers. What's the most exciting thing you ever did?
I think it was when I turned 30. I went to Las Vegas and I jumped off the stratosphere. You know how you can like jump off of it? I did that. And I think that was like so exhilarating, because I was like, whoa, this feeling is insane.
So what was it? Was it the one that just stops at the edge, or you really go down?
Yeah, the one that you just like throw yourself off the building. And I mean,
it's like a bungee cord?
You're hanging on to a string. So like as you're like, you know, going down, it kind of like lifts you back up slowly so you don't have like a fast fall.
Oh,
yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
That was pretty exciting, I would say.
Absolutely.
Have you ever done something crazy like that?
Skydiving.
Okay, how was that?
It was, everything was amazing. Besides the initial jump is just a very scary part.
Okay.
which is, of course, I feel like that's a given. But as soon as you realize your tandem guy got your back, figuratively and physically, and all that, and you start gliding down, you're gliding down in slow motion. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. The only regret, I didn't have chapstick on. My lips and my mouth got so dry. And I was trying to lick my lips, and I'm like, impossible. The wind is just going crazy. But everything was amazing besides the no chapstick, and the initial jump is so scary.
So bring the chapstick next time.
You lather up. Lather
Petroleum
up.
and all that good stuff.
Everything, whatever you need, so you don't have to worry about dry lips, because it's very uncomfortable. Wind blowing in your face for like, I forgot how many minutes it takes to go back down. But it's amazing. I would definitely do it again. I did it alone. One thing about me, I used to wait around for my friends and whoever was available to do things. So years passed waiting for friends and whoever the case that said they wanted to go skydiving. And I just went alone one day. I was tired of waiting around because of somebody's schedule or whatever the case. So I went alone. It was a crazy experience. It would have been cool to share with somebody, like to talk to them about it afterwards on the drive home. I'm just driving home shaking. Like I feel it in my whole body. Like, oh my God, that was crazy.
Did you tell anyone that you were going to do that? Okay.
Before, I don't know. I don't know if I told anybody before.
Oh, you told them
after. Yeah.
So
I got a video and everything.
So if that was it, like that would have been, nobody would have known until.
No, I must have told at least one person before, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it was.
That's pretty wild.
That was definitely the most exciting thing. Yeah. So that's why.
Would you recommend it?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. I would definitely do it again.
All right.
So yeah, that's usually what I think of when I ask people that question. But the stratosphere, that's scary. I don't even want to do that one.
No, it was fun. I would do it again.
I've been up there, but I never jumped off.
Oh,
that's scary.
Yeah.
I had some wings. They got those lollipop wings, and a drink I had up there.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
You know, the lollipop wings nice where there's a drumstick, but they push the meat up, so it looks like a lollipop.
Okay.
Nothing special. But the view is what it is. And if you haven't been, the stratosphere actually spins slowly. You've been, right?
The restaurant, right?
The restaurant area. The actual floor spins. So you can see the whole Vegas if you sit there for like, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't even know. Anyways, what are 3 things you need to be happy?
Wow. Mom. My partner. And to be happy. And self-calmness.
Calmness?
Yeah.
Balance.
Because, yeah. Even better. Just because without it, you really aren't happy.
Preach. I talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Balance is everything. If you can go through everything and anything level-headed, balanced, life is so much more peaceful. If you go into everything just erratic and just going with whatever you feel at the moment and just going with it, you're gonna be crazy. You're gonna drive yourself crazy. You can't run with your emotions. You have to run through everything level-headed and balance it out. This is horrible, but I'm going through it. I understand it. This is what I have to do. I'm gonna get through it. And if it's something amazing, enjoy it, but just don't OD. Exactly. Chill. Don't OD. I was preaching and then threw an OD.
It was pretty deep, and then you just kind of like took it out real quick.
Yeah, man. 100%. That's awesome. As you get older, what has become more important and less important?
Hanging out with friends has become less important. It's like, they're always down to go and party, but when you need them the most, they're like nowhere to be found. So it's like not that I've lost, but like I definitely like cut off a lot of relationships where that it was more like me doing all the work and then, not getting reciprocated. So definitely cut off a lot of ties. So that's one, right? And what was the other one?
More important.
More important in life. Staying at home. Just enjoying yourself at home and like the free and ease to be and do what you want to do there. Like I enjoy that more. Whereas before I felt like I just want to be out. Now it's the opposite. Now I just want to be home. I want to chill.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would be the best piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Wow. Listen to your teachers, pay attention, focus a little bit more. Yeah, definitely. Like, who knows what I would be today if I actually paid attention in high school? You know what I mean? Like, my path would have gone like maybe I wouldn't have been such a late bloomer. Maybe I could have been a little sooner, right? Investing in properties or whatnot, getting your own property. I don't know. I think that's the only thing because everything else I'm fine with. It's just what maybe if I had pushed myself a little bit more.
Push yourself, yeah, but I don't think public school teachers would have taught us how to invest. Right?
No, they wouldn't have. But let's say, for example, like I didn't pay attention in math. Like whatever math class I was in, I never paid attention in math, especially when it dealt with accounting. I thought it was like, what do I need to know this for? Like I'm never going to use this stuff in my life. Little did I know that I ended up taking more classes in college, and those I had to pay for. So it's, so it's like, what? You were a fool. Now you got to pay for them.
You have any regrets?
I don't think so. No, because every decision that I made, whether good or bad, got me here. Right?
100%.
And I wouldn't be here had I not made those errors, right? So like, why fix them
100%.
if you're happy and content with right now?
Absolutely.
Right?
What are your overall life goals?
Well, I just completed one, right? But now let's see, going forward, I'm hooked. Like now I want to do another one, right? Now I want to like get something else, whether it's for investment or not. But I do want more. And it's more so because not so much because you're expected to, because I feel like there's so much pressure for like adults to be like, oh, what are you doing with your life? You need a life goal. But like definitely like I'm going to push myself to like just be a better person, right? Because as long as I'm a good person, like the rest doesn't matter, really.
I like that. We're going to end it here and let the people know if you have any advice or where people can find you. What do you have going on? Anything. The floor is yours. Let her rip.
All right. So my name's Eddie. I run the South Yonkers page, so you can go ahead and follow the South Yonkers Instagram page. What's coming up next? I don't know. I guess it all depends on whether or not people will be accepting of like me making more videos, and I guess I don't know how I'm gonna get to know that, but I guess people are really quick to like kind of DM you and see like they like to tell you things like about like what they think that you should do or what you should be doing. So I'm sure I'll hear about it. And that's about it. I mean, I don't really have anything as far as for the page itself. I have no plans other than kind of like once I get more time, once I'm all settled into the house and everything's in the right place, then I'll have more time and see where I can go with that.
Perfect. Eddie, thank you very much for being a guest on my show. Peace and love.